didn't see you there.
Do you ever feel like, due to the noise in your house, you physically,
Emotionally, psychologically, existentially cannot concentrate? Do you have a house full of siblings between the age of 0 to 14
who simply will not respect the fact that you have a degree to chase, that you have an education to chase, that you have goals to meet,
and just will not give you quiet? Do you feel like you've done everything you can to block out the noise but you still cannot concentrate and it's becoming a problem? Well, if that is the case, then I have the video for you, so keep watching. Hey people, and welcome back to my channel. I hope we're all keeping safe, healthy, and our families are all doing well. All of that. Not gonna lie, I can't really explain what you've just witnessed. I think it's clear to say that acting is not my portion. Yes, God has blessed us with talents, but acting is not my portion. Anyways, on a more serious note, in light of this lockdown, in light of not being able to access libraries for us students out there who still have assignments, exams, essays to submit, I decided to create this video of how to stay productive, how to study in a noisy environment, because it is the reality for a lot of us out there. But even if you cannot relate, I hope these tips will still be helpful and that you won't have wasted your time in clicking in this video. So for a little bit of context and background about my own situation, I live in a noisy African home. And guys, if you get me, you get me. And even if you're not African, like a lot of you will relate on this front. I live with three other siblings. My two younger siblings are at that annoying age, well, not annoying age, but you know, that really energetic age where they haven't yet realized the hardship of life and they're still full of that energy and zow. So as soon as they wake up till when they fall asleep, the house is noisy. The house is noisy. And also my mom, I like to help her around quite a bit in terms of my house chores, but there are those occasional days where it's as if my name is sweet in her mouth. Franceska, come help me do this. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. Number one is to find optimum hours. Sometimes the reality is you will live in a house with 4-5 other people who will be awake most of the day, and it will be noisy whether you like it or not. But sometimes the silver lining is that there are periods in the day where there might not be as much noise. And for me, those periods are early in the morning because the majority of people in my house are asleep. I find that sleeping early, this doesn't happen enough, and waking up early allows you to have those couple of hours in the morning where you can literally optimize on the quiet time. When I wake up at 7:30 in the morning, there's literally no noise, everyone's asleep, and it allows me to get so much done. Like, my productivity is soaring. Choose your tasks wisely. When you're scheduling your timetable, schedule your tasks so that the tasks that require the most amount of focus and energy, and for me, that is learning tasks, so learning new concepts instead of actually revising, schedule them to be done during the time that is the quietest. So as I said, for me, that's in the morning. And easier tasks, allow them to be done whilst the house is noisier. If you're like me and your house is quieter in the morning, this is actually quite ideal and well suited because my productivity tends to drop during the day. So getting everything I need to do done, all the energy demanding tasks done in the morning, allows you to have an evening set to just do easy tasks or none at all if you've managed to do everything in the morning. Numéro 2 is to set expectations with your family. Sometimes all it takes is to have that conversation with your family, express that you're struggling to do noise in a noisy environment. I'm sure they'll do their best to help fix the problem. And I found that it really helped in my own situation when I told my sisters, where I told my brother, where I told my parents that there are certain periods of the day where I'll need it to be quiet in order for me to focus. And yeah, they respected that. There's still those odd occasions where they're excessively loud, but now that I've shedded light on the issue, they'll always take that into consideration. For me, something that I did, although it isn't 100% relevant, I made a Wi-Fi router to highlight the times where people needed the Wi-Fi most. And this was because the Wi-Fi in my house was really, really bad. These are the times that I will be doing my lectures. These are the times that my brother will be doing tutoring. These are the times that my sister will have her online classes. Can everyone take that into consideration and not use the internet for streaming purposes unless necessary? You can create a rota, a schedule of what you expect to be doing in terms of your work, and you could share that with your family so they can see the times during the day that you'll need the most amount of quiet, if that makes sense. Sometimes your family, they need visual cues, whether that be a sign, a fat sign on your door. This is the sign that I'm using at the moment, which says, or whether that be headphones. Sometimes your family need visual cues to know that you're working. Towards the beginning of me putting up that sign, like my family just selective vision. It's as if they saw everything else. My mum was seeing when I wasn't washing up the dishes. My mum was seeing when I was leaving things on the floor, but she couldn't see a fat sign. Sometimes changes, new things take time to implement themselves into a system, and that's okay. The next tip is to use headphones. Ideally, I recommend headphones, so the ones that actually cover your whole ear, but if you don't have them, earphones will do the job. Anything that kind of creates a barrier between your ears and the external world helps. This doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have music playing, and these are the sound blocking, noise blocking Beats headphones, which came with my laptop. They make a substantial difference and they really, really help. And yeah, if you can afford it, if you already have a pair, noise blocking headphones work wonders. Right, the next tip is to focus on the work you have and not on the hustle and bustle and the noise around you. I don't know if anyone else experiences this, but for me, once I start getting into the flow of productivity, like you get so in your head, a mental zone of productivity, and you can even forget for a split second that you're literally in a noisy home with 4 siblings shouting 24/7,
playing Dr. Goose, playing Kiss Chase, whatever it could be.
In the sense that like I've stopped focusing on like external noises and I'm just focusing at the task in hand. I find that there are certain tasks that allow me to get into my swing of productivity easier. When I'm doing tasks that don't require me to actually take in information, so learning tasks, I find it easier to do tasks that allow me to actively recall, to output information. So when I'm not feeling productive, I start off my studying by doing a blurt, which is basically where I take a piece of paper, I have nothing else around me, I have no textbook, no notes, I try to actively recall as much information about a particular topic as possible, and I find that this is the easiest way for me to kind of slide into my productivity, because it means I focus on like what's in my head rather than what's external, which can often be interfered by noises in the environment. Okay. Now the next point is to read aloud, especially if you're reading from textbooks, and it doesn't even have to be loud, you can mutter it under your breath. You allow your mind to focus on the words that are coming out your mouth. In a sense, it allows you to kind of narrow and tunnel your energy and your attention onto the words you're saying. And for me, that helps me absorb the information a lot more, especially in a noisy environment. Sometimes in speaking and creating those sounds, it can almost overshadow or overpower the external sounds that can be potentially distracting. And that was actually the last tip. Whoa. But yeah, I hope this was useful. Guys, make sure you know the drill. You know the drill. If you're an existing subscriber, thank you, so much love. If you're new to the channel, we haven't formally met, but yeah, I'm Fran, simply Fran. On that note, guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you and see you guys in the next video. Bye. Please, can you keep quiet? I'm recording video. If this is the first time you're seeing me on your screen, make sure you like, subscribe, and